Welcome to part 3 of this incredible series where Sarah Breskman Cosme puts me under hypnosis using QHHT Dolores Cannon's method to do a deep dive into all of our favorite topics: aliens, angels, Atlantis, Egypt, the new earth, and even some personal stuff too. So you're not going to want to miss what's coming. But if you haven't watched part 1 and 2 yet, you're going to want to go back and watch those. So make sure you watch that on my YouTube as well as Sarah's, which is linked below, and enjoy.
Okay, so interesting. Going to the UFO and the government, why has the government delayed full disclosure about UAPs and extraterrestrial contact?
Well, the government doesn't have it. They don't have all the information. They have bits and pieces of information. People think they have more information than they do. They are withholding information, but their information is primitive. It's early, it's very minimal. So they don't, what people want for full disclosure, they don't have enough information for full disclosure.
Are there factions working that oppose this still?
Yes.
Why? Why do they not want full disclosure or any disclosure?
A group of scared people who wanted control and power and had control and power made that decision a long time ago, and everybody is afraid to go against it because everybody is meant to serve the country and follow orders. So they're still holding up a decision that was made out of fear a long time ago.
Is humanity ready for open contact?
As a whole, right now, unfortunately not.
What are steps that people could do to prepare themselves for this?
It starts within, and it starts with seeing humans differently. They must learn to accept each other and themselves. People haven't even accepted themselves yet. They look in the mirror, they don't accept themselves yet. How are they going to accept beings that will be scary and ugly to them?
I see. So first, accept yourself.
Accept yourself, then accept others, then accept wrongdoings, not to be done upon you or to do them, but accept that you don't have to hate or kill over wrongdoings. And it really is still very tribal. It's still very tribal, even though there's more steps. Humanity is still tribal, but at least the tribal people had the openness to receive. It's like the tribalness without the openness to receive.
Will there be a disclosure event in Jen's lifetime?
There will be several small ones. As far as kind of full-blown active one, maybe not in the physical. It may be more people just get it dimensionally, get it through consciousness, get it through dream state, and it collectively becomes the accepted narrative. But this event of kind of the sky opening and the aliens coming, probably not.
Oh, okay. All right. What role do UAP sightings and the recent disclosures play in awakening humanity to the reality?
It brings the awareness up for every person. Awareness of something greater. Awareness of interconnectedness between things outside of what we see. And that is a very big jump for where humanity has been at.
Really curious about ayahuasca, the spirit of ayahuasca. What is the essence or nature of the being that everyone refers to as Mother Ayahuasca?
It is an ancient earth spirit.
Wow. Is she like a singular spirit, a collective energy, or like an archetype?
Similar to how the earth, Mother Gaia, is kind of all of three of those things, the spirit of ayahuasca is as well. There is a collective energy to it where it embodies many different forms, and also it is I wouldn't say it's a singular spirit. It is a collective spirit, but also an archetype. It is within humans as well. So it exists in nature, but humans are nature. So it exists within humans as well. And it can come out with that.
Oh, wow. What is ayahuasca's primary purpose here? Like, what is the purpose for her to work with humans?
Whereas other things, such as Mother Earth, is here to just experience, to be, to watch it unfold, to hold the space. Mother Aya actually has a purpose more specific, which is to heal and to draw people back to source, to pull them closer to their true essence.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting. What kind of realm or dimension does ayahuasca connect people to during the ceremonies? Are they visiting other realities or no?
Many things happen in these ceremonies. Some people do go to other realms. Some people go to other dimensions. There's not exactly a specific ayahuasca realm, but this realm that many people go to and have the same visuals is an inner realm. So it is something that is inside of all of us because it is a place that we've all been before being here, closer to source.
Because that's interesting, because people will see the same art and then you see it and it's the same as your ayahuasca ceremony. So it's like a place everyone's been before.
Yes, it's a place where all souls have been at one point. It is closer to source in a way. It is closer to creation. It is souls before they are individual have been in this place because this is a collective energy.
That's really interesting. Well, how does ayahuasca decide what lessons or messages to impart to each person? Because some people have an amazing experience one day and then it's a totally different lesson that she chooses the next day. What is it? Is it something they're doing, or is it just is it the consciousness or of it?
So it varies person to person because the shamans and the facilitators, they are correct when they say that she is intelligent and knows what to do. And it's almost as though she can read your code and she can assess your energy, your wants, your intentions, your willingness, whether you really did the diet, whether you really did the sacrifice that you need to prepare yourself. That all measures up to your willingness. So some people have a hard experience because that's what they need. Some people have a hard experience because they're not doing it for the right reason. sometimes people have a hard experience because they want a quick fix. And so, but some people have a hard experience because it is the right thing to do, and they just needed to see a hard truth. So there are many different reasons why, and some people have an amazing, beautiful experience because that's what they needed. And it is like a code. She can just assess exactly what would be the most beneficial, even if it's not what they want in their conscious mind.
Why did Jen receive information that was not correct about the election?
Because that's what she needed.
Why? Why did she need this?
She could have fallen into the polarity with the events that were happening. There was a lot of very heightened political events, and it was to prevent her from falling into caring. She had kept a lot of neutrality and then started to get charged up by some of these things, which is natural. They were intense experiences happening politically. So it was almost to tell her that it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Why did ayahuasca tell her that she is gay?
For the same reason, being charged up about the topic of men. And again, it's kind of saying like, sometimes you can be led to false information to let go of any preconceived notions that you have of what will happen. Like, for example, with the election, she thought Trump would win. So we told her that Kamala will win. With men, she was having trouble seeing the type of man that she would want in the world. So we told her there isn't one.
Okay, well, why did ayahuasca do this? Like, when ayahuasca's messages are contradictory or confusing, how can anyone interpret them? What are they supposed to do? What was Jen supposed to do with all these?
Is to trust it's what they need and accept the messages as they come, but they are not gospel. Anyone who receives any message spiritually from any being, from any entity, even if they believe it's from God himself, know it's what you need to hear, not always the absolute.
How come when I did ayahuasca, I wanted to learn all the secrets of the universe, but ayahuasca just wanted to talk about myself? I was really disappointed.
You've spent a lot of time on thinking about the questions of the universe and not enough time thinking about yourself.
True. What is the relationship between ayahuasca and the earth? Is she connected to the earth or the planet's consciousness in some way?
So, being a vine, a very old vine, the spirit of Mother Gaia runs through Mother Aya. So it runs through. So it's combining this energy of Mother Earth with this inner realm of the individual.
Beautiful. What determines whether someone has a deeply healing experience or a challenging one or both?
All of them are healing, but their perception of it, they might not be ready for that full understanding. Even a challenging one, some people have an experience where a person next to them in ceremony is going through it and ruins their night. That is the healing they needed, even in that moment, for someone to ruin their night. And they need to realize that things are not always going to go the way their ego wants. And to see the lesson and the healing in everything, even those experiences, or the people who fall asleep or claim to have no experience. It's always an experience.
Well, what about people who feel called but they're nervous because they've never done it and they're fearful?
It's justified to be nervous. But living with those nerves forever, or once you do it, it will be done. It'll be easy or it'll be hard. Regardless, everybody survives it, and you'll be better after.
What about dragons? What role do dragons play in the spiritual and energetic realms?
The dragons are a old, protective, almost grandfather force on this planet before humans. They were maybe not dominion, but they ruled the earth in a way.
Well, how do they connect to Earth's ascension and the shift in consciousness?
They are very wise and they've seen many changes, and they have great wisdom and great power that can be tapped into. And as some humans get closer to this great wisdom, they'll be able to frequentially match with a dragon spirit who can assist them.
Oh, wow. What happens if someone works with a dragon spirit?
Dragons are very generous. They are very helpful. Just be mindful that you are not wasting their time with something irrelevant in the greater scheme. So if you are working towards your wisdom, working towards your almost becoming a guru, not as a lifestyle, but in your thoughts, in your ways, being monk-like, living in neutrality, those things, not needing to be a monk, but having those qualities, the dragons love to assist with that. But the dragons, they don't want the small, fleeting issues that humans worry about. So if you do come in contact with dragons, then ask wisely. Don't ask them for something irrelevant, because they will pass along and feel you are not ready.
What can people learn from their energy, and how can people actually work with them?
The dragons will find you. And then if you have the synchronicities and the messages, and in meditation, and their presence, their images come forward, then you can start to ask to work with them in consciousness, in meditation. But just calling one forward, they don't easily just listen to requests.
Okay, it's really good to know. What about the Akashic records, the guardians of the Akashic records? Like, who or what oversees the Akashic records?
So similar to the blue beings of the incarnating side, it is similar. There are many different keepers, archivists, many different workers, but there are guardians, and those guardians, similar to, there's the souls that hold together the place where people reincarnate. Those guardians hold together the Akashic records. Now, the Akashic records is in everything. The information is in every cell, every atom. However, those beings, the guardians, come together to hold a space that is easier for souls to be able to retrieve the information.
What's the purpose or point of having the Akashic records?
It's everyone's birthright to have the information.
Who are the time beings, the master of time? Are there entities that oversee the flow of time and timelines?
Yes, and it can be many different types of beings that have evolved to that over time, or souls of all different origins that have mastered that. They can graduate into that status. The ones who truly watch over the time are very ancient, and there are others that work to assist them over time. Say, for example, an ascended master that has mastered timelines, or a timeline shift in some other place, could work with them and basically be an apprentice to them. But those roles are very old. They are beings that figured this out a long time ago.
What can they teach us about time manipulation or alternate timelines?
That it's like water. It's very fluid and it can always change. Now, in our physical reality, because we have so much consciousness, so many billions of people's consciousness, holding this space together, those timeline shifts will happen less visibly, but they will happen. It just will look slower than the way that the timeline shifts happen in other places.
That's so interesting. What about shadow beings, like energy entities? What is their purpose of shadow beings?
There are many type of shadow beings. There are many beings of the lower realms. They're not bad. The ones that people see, they are sometimes projections of the self, but mostly it is when a person tunes into those lower frequencies of fear, of despair, of depression, of suicidal thoughts, of drug addiction. That's when they see these beings, particularly out of the peripheral or at night. And you just need to tap into love to ask them to go away. Asking them in fear doesn't really help much because you're still in the frequency even more heightened, the frequency that sees them. So tapping into love is very helpful. But also, they are a good reminder of you're getting to the depths. You're getting to a dark place. And when you see them, it can be a great reminder of, I need to make a shift. I need to make a choice. I need to live differently. I need to choose to be happier, choose to do something to better myself at this point. So they do serve as a great reminder.
Are they here to teach lessons, or are they here to reflect humanity's collective shadow?
They do reflect. They reflect what is going on in individuals. They sometimes can be a bit of a gatekeeper between even lower dimensions. Sometimes they might, if a person is very going deep, they can sometimes be a barrier between even lower dimensions. But they are very different than the higher beings. The higher beings sometimes enjoy work, enjoy purposes, enjoy missions. These, they have a bit more of a lingering energy. They like to linger around. They like to be gatekeepers just at the door, just at the barriers. But they can serve as a reminder. It's just not their purpose.
Wow. How can humans face and heal their own shadow?
jump right into it. Don't be afraid, and it's there for a reason. It is something beautiful. The shadow is so beautiful. The more that you look at it and observe the darkness within yourself, and it doesn't need to be like you have some evil demon that's a serial killer. It's mostly just wounded. It's mostly just the part of you that is too hurt and is hiding away because it's so hurt. And that part of you needs love. So, but if you don't, these shadows can take over and take the front stage and sometimes cause you to maybe. This is why when people get blacked out from drinking, it's almost like they become possessed or something else comes through them, because that shadow that's hidden finally gets some attention. So it's better to nourish it and explore it while you can. And don't be afraid of feeling the negative emotions. You're not going to get stuck in them, especially if you're doing it to heal.
There's a lot of talk right now about people needing protection. Is it true people need protection? Is it true that if you are like in really working with light, that you're calling in a lot of dark? Is that even true?
It's the thought process behind it. So the people who believe these things actually call those things in. So the people who believe that there's entities attaching to them and entities around them, it's a permission slip for lower dimensional beings to come and play along. It's like inviting them to the game. So it's better to trust that you don't need. Not to say, nobody needs protection. If people are dabbling in things and calling in many energies and many beings, they could need some protection. And anybody can use the white light. Also, if Jesus or other beings of other religions resonate with them, they can use those as well. So it is nice to have protection, even for peace of mind, using the white light around yourself. But the people who believe in those things are actually calling those things forward because they're agreeing to this is the game that they're playing, and they need players for the game.
Does calling in the white light or one of these, archetypal beings actually protect you? If you call it in and say, I have a bubble of white light around me today, nothing will hurt me, will this work?
It does if you truly believe it. And there are also things on your path that are for your highest purpose that are not within your ego's alignment. So yes, you will be protected. But if there is a very powerful thing that is going to propel you to your higher timeline that appears to be something negative, but later on is a powerful gift, those might not be protected by the white light because it is your path, it is your destiny.
It's good to know. Hey, what are some of the schools that souls talk about attending between lives or while even asleep? What are some of these schools?
Connected to these realms between incarnations and also Akashic records realms. Sometimes your spirit guides, your teachers, these blue being type of beings, they will take you to places to test out things, to practice things, to view things. And you would not remember them most of the time. You'll just think you had a regular dream.
Wow. What was the original purpose of religion, and how has it evolved over time?
Religion originally was meant to help people. It was originally meant to teach the principles of truth. But people who wanted control took over the message and tampered it and used it for power.
Well, how can individuals honor their religious roots while embracing broader spiritual truths?
There is truth in all religions. So they can hold on to those higher vibrational messages, such as Jesus's teachings or other beings from other religions, their teachings, those greater lessons. But the punishment, the damnation, the sin, the negativity, the fear, let that go, because there is no punishing spirit.
Okay, thank you for that. Who built the pyramids?
Humans with technology of the body and the mind and sound, using their body as technology, and the information came from higher dimensional beings. They learned the information from higher dimensional beings of how to move objects with sound, intention, energy.
What was the purpose of the pyramids when it was first built?
Almost powerhouses of energy. There was not the type of energy that we have now. It was more of a free energy, and these pyramids assisted in that.
Who or what were the beings known as Thoth, Isis, Osiris, and Horus? Like, were they divine, extraterrestrial, or just highly advanced humans?
They are more like ascended masters, not alien or extraterrestrial. They are ascended beings. They could have had some time as human, but not the type of humans that we know. This concept of more advanced humans that used to exist at one time, some of them, and more of an ascended master. It's a very advanced soul, a very advanced spirit.
Wow. What about Atlantis? Does Atlantis continue to exist in another dimension today?
A version of it does. A version of it shifted timelines and exists still. But it's very small, the population.
Where is that located?
Here on Earth, but outside of our dimension, another parallel Earth that is here, but we are not attuned to, because we are attuned to a timeline that still has destruction.
And these people, or this that shifted, are they aware of us?
They are aware of us, but they don't perceive us. But they know what they did. They know that they shifted, and they know that the Earth continued on without them.
What is their life like right now?
Similar to Atlantis, but a little bit more in peace, like a more peaceful, balanced form of Atlantis with less polarity.
Well, what about our current timeline? Will there be people that will shift into a totally different realm like that? Will it be similar in any way, or no?
It will be similar, but because the beings of Atlantis were already very advanced, they have a greater awareness of the other timeline existing. The people who shift here will have less of an awareness of the timeline shifting.
Okay. Interesting.
And we will need more people to do it.
Are we at a lower frequency than they were?
Yes, because we still have very primitive issues.
Why were they so advanced?
They had been more receptive to the outside information. And there was their leaders, original early leaders, were less power hungry than. So a lot of those initial advancements say that happened with Egypt for us. We had such greedy, powerful leaders who only cared about their own ego, not the collective. So they shifted the humanity to a lower and slower path. Whereas their original leaders early on in Atlantis were more for the collective, the best of the collective, and allowed those higher things to continue, even if it didn't give them all the power.
Wow, it's really interesting. Are there specific locations on Earth where the energies of Atlantis are still accessible?
In the ocean, in the ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, it's not super clear.
Okay. Can you do a scan of Jen's body? Can you look deep into her body and see how her body is looking?
It only gets better from there. Make sure to watch the next part on Sarah Breskman Cosme Hypnosis at YouTube and subscribe to both of our channels for more deep dives into your favorite topics, aliens, consciousness, and hidden human history.